Well, hello there. I'm Miss Lynne. I was just trying out making some different kinds of pathways with my body. Welcome to another movement art class. Today, we are going to use our whole bodies and our brains to become different bodies of water that we find here on Earth. We'll become glaciers and lakes and rivers and oceans, and we'll also learn about pathways while we're pretending to be all those different kinds of water. Before we get started though, let's warm up our bodies together. So go ahead and stand up and you can just follow along. Let's do it all again.
Raindrops keep falling on my head, but that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turning red. Crying's not for me, 'cause I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining, because I'm free. Nothing's worrying me.
Great job warming up, everybody. Earlier, I said that I was exploring making different pathways as I went across the screen. In movement art, there are 3 different pathways that we use. We have a straight pathway, we have a curvy pathway, and we have a pathway called zigzag, where you go first one way, and then another, and then another, and then another. Yeah? So, let's try each of them just behind your chair. Let's start simply at first. Ready? Go ahead and stand up. And let's try straight pathway first. Just take a straight pathway and go back. Awesome. Okay. Let's try a curvy pathway. All right? So that means your feet are walking a curve on the ground. Maybe it's a circle. Maybe it's some curves this way. Go ahead and try some curvy pathways. Got it? Okay. Now let's try a zigzag pathway. So back up a little bit. You're going to go first one way, and then the other. First one way, and then the other. All right. I'll tell you what, I bet we can think of letters that we can walk on the ground for each one of these pathways. What would be a good letter for a straight pathway? How about a T? So back up. We'll walk a straight pathway for the T, like this. And then we'll turn and walk a straight pathway this way and back it up. And that will be the top of the T. Yeah? Did you try it with me? Here we go. Straight, turn, straight, and straight. And we made a T on the floor. Okay. Great. What is a curvy letter we could make on the floor? What do you think of an S? Let's try that one on the floor, all right? We'll start at the top of the S. Here we go. Draw it with your feet. You're drawing an S. Whoa, we made all those curves. Try it again just walking, okay? So start up here. We're gonna walk our curving S. One, curve and curve. Nice. Okay. Zigzag. What letter could we make as a zigzag? How about an M? Yeah? All right, try that. Back it up a little bit. Well, let's start right here. And we'll walk towards the screen at an angle. Turn. Walk away from the screen at an angle. Turn. Toward the screen at an angle. Turn. Away from the screen at an angle. And you just walked an M, right? We could do it this way too. Nice. So, now we know how to do a straight path, a curved path, and a zigzag path. Why don't you choose your own letter, maybe your favorite letter. Maybe it's the first letter of your first name. And let's make that on the floor and figure out what kind of pathway it's going to be. Ready? Do your own letter. I'm doing an L for Miss Lynne. And mine was made of all straight lines. Tell me what yours was. Awesome. Okay, let's all have a seat and rest our bodies for a moment. So, you know there's a lot of water on the earth, right? And it comes in many different forms. I know I've seen rivers and lakes and even the ocean. Each one of these is called a body of water. Each body of water takes a different shape. Each one is created a different way, and each one moves differently too. But you know what? They all start with a raindrop.
Try being born as a raindrop.
What did you notice about that raindrop's movement? Was it fast or slow? Close your eyes for a moment and imagine being that raindrop, okay? You would be falling to the earth at a very fast speed and falling so fast that your pathway would be, what do you think, straight, curved, or zigzag? It would be straight, right? You wouldn't have any time to make curves or zigzags. You would just fall straight down. Let's follow this raindrop as it travels on earth and see what happens. The first place we can imagine this raindrop falling is somewhere near the North Pole. What's it like at the North Pole? What do we know about that? It's very cold, right? So think about this. As the raindrop is falling from a cloud toward the earth onto the North Pole, will it stay water, do you think, or will it turn into something else? What would it turn into since the air it's falling through is so cold? Yes, it could freeze and become ice, or in this case, it's going to turn to snow. So, when you turn from a raindrop into a snowflake, do you think you get lighter or heavier? You get lighter. I don't know if you've ever seen snow fall, but it falls really slowly and gently because it's so light. And it gets pushed around by the air quite a bit. Let's all pretend we're falling like snow, okay? Let's see. Here's my chair. Let's fall into our chair, okay? So we'll start as a raindrop, but then turn into snow and fall gently, gently, gently onto the earth at the North Pole. Now, the next thing that can happen is that more snow can fall on top of us. What would that feel like? Well, at first it would be sort of like a blanket, right? The snow would fall. But then as more and more falls and it gets colder and colder, it gets heavier and heavier, eventually pushing us down with great force and turning us not only into ice, but pushing so hard bottom of us melts just a little bit. That actually happens. At this point, when we're really, really smashed solid, we become what's called a glacier. Here's the word glacier. And here is an actual picture of a glacier. It takes years and years of snowfall to build up enough to form a true glacier. Glaciers are sometimes called rivers of ice because as the snow on top becomes heavier and heavier, the pressure of that snow becomes so great that it not only makes the snow turn to solid ice, but it also melts the ice at the very bottom. And the glacier then begins to slide. How would you move if you became a glacier? Remember, the top part of you would be heavy, solid ice, but the very bottom of you is just the tiniest bit of melted water. So you begin to slide on that. And we all know that when water moves, it likes to move down. So wherever is the next lowest part of the earth, that's where the glacier will slide. What would a glacier's pathway be? I guess it could be anything, as it just flows to the next lowest part of the earth, but I would think mostly pretty straight. Since it's so heavy, it definitely moves slowly, so it couldn't really change direction very easily. Let's try it all together and see what that would feel like. So we're heavy, heavy, heavy up here, and squished and solid. And we have so much pressure, but the very bottom of us is melting, and that part can slide. Ready? Here we go. We're sliding and sliding, going lower and lower. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's what it feels like to be a glacier. You can think of yourself like a frozen river of ice. At the very lowest tip of the glacier, which is called a glacial toe or a glacial snout, that's where the most melting occurs. So very often there's a lake here. You can see the very tip of the glacier and its lake from melted snow in each of these photographs. Wait, what exactly is a lake? Here's the word lake. A lake is a body of water that is completely surrounded by land. Here's a few pictures of lakes so you can see what one looks like. While a glacier was mostly solid because it was made of ice, a lake is all liquid because it is full of water. On most lakes, you can see the other side, just like you see in this picture here. How would water move in a lake? Well, since it has land all around it, the water in the middle is kind of trapped. It can't leave the lake, really, right? But there is something that can help it move, something we feel every day when we're outside, the wind. I'll tell you what, let's mark out where our lake edges are first, and we'll go from there. So what if our lake was this big? All right, and we can walk the edge of it. What kind of path are we making when we walk the edge of the lake? That's a curved path, right? Okay, so that's how big our lake is. Now, let's pretend we're the water in the lake. So back up a little bit. If the wind blew you, where would you go? Straight across the lake. Maybe the wind would blow you back. So we can just keep doing that. Straight and straight back. And straight across. And straight back. Do it with me. Straight across and straight back. Straight across and straight back. These are all pretty much straight paths that the wind can blow the water across the lake. Let's pretend in our lake there's one tiny part that's a little lower than the rest. So a little bit of water starts to flow out. And as it flows, will the water go up or down? We know water likes to go down, right? Gravity pulls it. And eventually, more water might follow. And it could end up looking like this. Or even like this. What is this body of water called? Do you know? It's a river. Here's the word river. A river is a body of water that flows between two sides or two banks of land. What would the pathway of a river look like, do you think? Well, it could really be anything. Sometimes rivers go straight. Sometimes rivers curve. And sometimes rivers really zigzag. If they hit something hard and they have to turn, they can do it. Let's try to move like a bunch of different rivers, okay? What if we were first a calm river, like this one? We might move kind of slowly and easily as we curve around as a calm river. And it could be a straight river, still pretty calm, always going somewhere, right? A river always goes somewhere. It's a pathway itself. What if we were a faster, rougher river, going over rocks like this one? How would we move? We might bounce up and down over the rocks, right? As we move. This is a curvy river that bounces over the rocks as we go. All right. That one moved a little faster, didn't it? What if we came to a place where the land just fell away? What would we do as water? Let's see. Pretend the land falls away right there. So here we go is our river. The land falls away. Yeah? What's that called when that happens? That's a waterfall, isn't it? Here's the word, waterfall. Here's a picture of a waterfall. Would this water move fast or slow? And what would its pathway be? It would go straight down, wouldn't it? Or maybe the land isn't so far below, but it kind of steps down in two parts, like this waterfall. A waterfall is a place in a river where the land drops away suddenly and the water falls over. Let's try moving as a waterfall one more time. Here's the edge of the land. We're going to be a river that goes toward it and fall fast and straight. Fast and straight. I'll show you from the side. Fast and straight. All right. Good job. Let's imagine that all the water in this river ends up in the lowest place possible. It goes and goes and goes till it can't get any lower, and that place would be the ocean. Here's the word ocean. The water in the river can't go anywhere else, so it joins the water that's already in the ocean and starts to move the way an ocean moves. Let's look at an ocean and try to figure out how it moves. What do you see? Waves. Okay, so ocean water moves by wind, and that creates waves. When you look out at the ocean from its edge, like the beach or the coastline, you can't see any other land. You can't see its other edge because an ocean is so much bigger than a lake. This is what you would see. Let's try to move like the water in the ocean. We would go up and down and up and down. What would our pathway be? Pretty much straight, right? Ocean waves head straight to the shore, usually. Okay, let's try it. So back up. So we know we're going to go up and down and up and down, all while moving straight to the shore. Okay? Here we go. Up and down and up when waves hit the shore, they actually move backwards in curvy pathways, sort of curvy zigzags actually, like this, till they get back in the ocean. So we can start over here and make a straight pathway going that way, right? Up and down, and up and down, up and down, and up and down, and to the back into the ocean with a zigzag path. Yeah, very good. I have an idea. Let's try to put all of these water movements together, one after the other, so we can create a whole dance about bodies of water. We'll look at each one as we do them, and I'll tell you what, let's write them on a whiteboard so we can keep track of what's going to come in what order, okay? I'll be right back. That'll just stay there to remind us of the order. Let's start by being snow, okay? This is the beginning of our dance. Snow falls on the North Pole, and more snow, more snow, more snow, till we are squished into a glacier of ice. We're squished so much that we start to slide very slowly. There we go. Now, at the very tip of the glacier, it melts. And at our feet, there'll be a lake this big. And we'll blow across the lake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's us blowing in straight pathways across the lake. Okay, what's next? We get to be a river. Okay, so remember your river goes between two pieces of land, right? And it always goes somewhere. So we can be a straight river that's calm. We could be a curvy river, right? You could actually go somewhere. You could go, here I'll show you. You could go around your chair, right? If you were a river. And then you could put some bounce in it if we were going over rocks. And then you could pretend the land dropped away. So we could have a waterfall, right? And then some more river with rocks until, I'm going to put my chair away, until we get to the ocean, right? Where we know, ocean, where we know the waves, let's do it this way, bob up and down as they go into the shore or the land, and then they zigzag back to leave. Ready? We'll do it again. All right, you got it? There are so many different ways water moves, right? It's amazing. So many different pathways, too. I'll tell you what, let's try it, and let's put the whole thing to music, and let's just see what happens. I think before we should start, we should think about our space a little bit. So if we are a glacier right up front, close to the front of the screen, we can actually slide to the back, right? And then that makes sense to make our lake at the toe go across, right? Then we'll have the river, we'll go kind of in a circle, okay? You can make whatever curvy kind of path you want to make with the river. It'll be calm and then rougher, and then there'll be the waterfall. And then a little more river to get back here, and then we'll be the ocean. Up and down, back, 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 back. All right, ready to try it? All right, awesome. We'll start as a glacier with snow falling on us to create the glacier. More snow. Oh my gosh, feel that pressure. We're getting heavy and solid. We start just at the bottom to get some water and slide.
Raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. So I just did some talking to the sun.
There's the lake at the bottom.
And I said I didn't like the way he got things
Go
done.
across.
Sleeping on the job.
The water in the lake, the street
Raindrops
pathway.
are falling on my head, they keep falling. But there's one thing I know, the blues they send to meet me
Here's our
won't
river.
defeat me. It won't
Curvy
be
pathway.
long till happiness steps up to greet
Maybe it
me.
gets a little rougher. Here's your waterfall.
Raindrops keep falling
Come
on my
on.
head, but that doesn't mean my eyes will soon
All the
be
way to the
turning.
ocean.
Crying's not for me.
Up and down as the
I'm
waves.
never gonna stop the rain by complaining.
Come down the shore.
'Cause I'm
Here's the waves again.
nothing's worrying me.
Here we go, coming down off the beach. And we'll end right there. Everybody take a bow. Great job, everybody.
Till happiness.
You can have a seat. I hope this lesson helped you to imagine all of these different bodies of water and what it would be like to be a drop of water in each one of them. Go ahead and close your eyes and remember for a moment what it felt like to be the ice in the glacier, heavy and sliding just the littlest bit. And now remember the water in the lake, how it could go across and across, but never leave the lake because it's trapped in there. And now imagine the water in the river. Remember it was either a calm, curvy river going along its path, or maybe a rocky one with a little bounce. And even there might be a waterfall in your river. And then remember how it felt to be the waves in the ocean, the water droplet in a wave, bobbing up and down as you go straight towards the land, and then zigzagging back, sliding down the beach into the ocean. You can open your eyes. Which body of water did you like being the most? Sometimes it's useful to know what you like and why, and also what you don't like. Think about why you liked being that body of water the best. You might like being a river the best because you got to go somewhere and see things, have an adventure. Or you might like being the water in a lake the best because it was calm and quiet and you didn't have to make that many decisions. You just went back and forth where the wind blew you. Whatever you liked best is great. Maybe it can give you some idea about how you like to live your life. Think about that for a moment. Boys and girls, thank you so much for being bodies of water with me today and trying out some different kinds of pathways. I had so much fun being a glacier and a lake and a river and an ocean with you. I hope you did too. Well, it's time for us to say goodbye. Bye-bye, everybody. I'm Miss Lynne, and I look forward to seeing you next time.